joining me and Rob on the telephone, we have Peter Marinello. Peter, can you hear us okay?
I can. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Thank you very, very much for calling in.
Peter, why don't you give us, where are you calling from?
Actually calling from New York City.
Oh, the Big Apple, huh? How's the weather up there?
Apple. You know what? The weather happens to be very good right now. We're just about 85. It doesn't get much better here. Summer in New York City. How are things in Tampa?
About 95 and humid.
Yeah, wet. It's like you're walking through the vertical rain.
Peter is the director for the National Advertising Review Council. Peter, for people who don't know what that means, can you explain that in layman's terms?
Oh, sure. Actually, I direct a program called the Electronic Retailing Self-Regulation Program, which is administered by this organization called the National Advertising Review Council, NARC for short. And I'll give you the 50-cent explanation here. The NARC is actually composed of 4 of the major advertising trade organizations, the most visible being the Council of Better Business Bureaus. So what happened was the Council of Better Business Bureaus partnered with a 5th entity, the Electronic Retailing Association, to sponsor this program called the Electronic Retailing Self-Regulation Program, ERSP we kind of call it here. And what we do is we look at direct response advertising. The most popular form of advertising is the infomercial.
Now, in your world, obviously, in the direct response, there's the infomercial, there's the 90-second direct response, there's 2 minutes, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of varieties of it, and every day, it's like if you could figure out another way to advertise cigarettes, you'd be the next multi-gazillionaire. So I'm sure that philosophy falls through with just another way to bend the rules, possibly, another way to get involved and present your product to somebody in a new fashion, in a new way, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's actually come a long way. I think direct response advertising celebrated its 25th anniversary last year, and it's really picked up a lot of momentum in the last decade with the advent of internet advertising and live shopping and streaming video and all these other vehicles of really directly touching the consumer and asking for a direct response back. So it's really exploded in the last couple of years.
But basically what you do is you watch these infomercials, whatever it may be, and you make sure that the product that they're selling is true to what they're saying that it's doing. How cool?
Yeah, Janet, that's fair to say. We actually don't pass judgment on the products themselves.
Right.
We look at the claims and whether or not the companies have the evidence to support the claims.
Tell us about, because obviously us working in the video production world, we see infomercials galore. Tell us about some of the, I don't want to say tell us some of the most funnest or bizarre stories about products that you've tested and the results of some of them without going into too much detail about what the product was.
Yeah, again, it's not like Consumer Reports where we actually test the products. Again, we just look at the evidence. And, pursuant to the FTC Act, the companies are supposed to have the evidence in their pocket before they disseminate these claims nationally. Over the last few years, a big segment has been weight loss products. And, starting, I guess, in the mid-'90s, some regulatory activities kind of opened the floodgates to these dietary supplements and what they can do and how they're regulated. So the weight loss guys just really took off and started making a lot of egregious claims. And by 1999, 2000, we really started seeing some crazy claims. There was one product in particular, I'm not even going to mention its name, but, their theme is pretty much eat as much as you want, don't worry about exercising, have steak with butter on it, and basically you'll lose all the weight you want to lose. And we were seeing a lot of those. And then I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, the FTC really kind of stepped to the plate, kind of went to the industry, said, you guys got to clean it up a little bit, or else we're going to step in ourselves.
Do you think that that your job and your staying out there, staying informed, and staying in touch with the claims and everything that these infomercials are making, the FCC?
FTC.
The FTC.
It's actually the Federal Trade Commission.
That's what I was corrected earlier. I was right. I got to tell Frank. The FTC. Do you think that your guys' efforts have started to bring credibility back to the infomercial world? Because I remember, in like 1989, 91, you had 1 out of 8 infomercials were successful. The numbers recently that you hear are 1 out of 60 infomercials are successful.
Mm-hmm. While I would love to take credit, and the program would love to take credit for this industry really kind of stepping to the plate. I have to tell you, a lot of the credit goes to these folks themselves. The ERA, the company that funds my program, they've really done a great job in the last few years helping really communicate the integrity and the credibility of their members. You know how it is, Rob. A lot of times it's the one bad apple that kind of spoils it for everybody. And a lot of times these infomercial guys, they get painted with this real broad brush of making these terrible claims. But for the most part, most of these guys are really good guys.